Hey guys, it's Titi here, and I am excited to be here. And I know you already know that because we always do exciting things whenever we meet up. Um, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope it's been a great week. It's Sunday today, and I had a really, really long week, okay? But it was productive. So I'm just excited that it was productive. And I am happy to be here to record and read with you guys tonight. Um, that being said, if you are new here, my name is Titi, and whenever I hit the record button, I come here to read with you guys, and we just don't read any books. We read books that empower us, books that allow us to stand in our power, books that teach us how to be a better version of ourselves and how to embrace ourselves, you know how to embrace our imperfections, our perfections. Well, maybe we're not perfection. Let me say how to embrace our dark side and our bright side, because whether you like it or not, we all have a dark side. The most important thing is being in control of our dark side. And we have been reading this book, The Way of the Priestess, right here by Sarah Coxon. And I know everybody will agree with me that it's a great book. And we've been reading it for a while now, and we're almost done actually. Last week we stopped at page 118, and today we're continuing with page 119. Yeah. And we're almost done actually, guys. Um, I think it's one page, it has 170 something pages. But anyway, so, as I mentioned, if you're new here, we're reading. And normally, before I come here to read, I would, you know, pick up a few oracle cards to, kind of guide us together because, I'm not just, this is not just for you guys. This is also for me. It's a journey that we're all walking together. So, I'm happy that you're here and thank you for being here. If you haven't, please hit the subscribe button to join the community and turn on your post notifications so that whenever I post, you know, whenever I upload a reading, you get notified and then you can jump right into it. All right, so we are starting with page 119 tonight, and it's called, I don't want to butcher this, but I think it's Pachamama or Pachamama. But I wanna lean on Pachamama. All right. So Sarah says, I'm 27 years old and stood at the Peruvian Bolivian border, saying goodbye to a Bolivian tour guide that I've known for 3 days. I am desperately trying not to cry. It doesn't make any logical sense because we barely know each other. And I have no idea how he feels about me because we've been nothing but professional with each other over the past days. What I do know is that my heart has chosen him, and now he's walking away from me. If I had been traveling by myself, I would have followed him. But the thing is that I'm actually working. South America and Peru in particular have always called to me. So when the opportunity came up within the company I'm working for to manage a 3-week archaeology tour there, or the 3-week archaeology tour there, I went for it. I lied to my boss about my proficiency in the Spanish language, which was there, then even worse now. And a few weeks later, I'd landed in Lima with a group of British geriatrics who were there to learn the Incas and Andean culture. As soon as my feet touched Peruvian soil, so I heard one of my first of what would be many flute renditions of El Condor Pasa. I felt a strange sense of belonging. And as we began our journey down the Peruvian coast and then across the Andes to Bolivia, I began to feel Pachamama's arms embracing me. Pachamama is the Incan earth goddess, revered by indigenous people of the Andes, and she's still very much alive there. You can see offerings to her scattered all across the landscape, which is why I felt incredibly connected to her. A couple of weeks into our tour, we hopped over the border into Bolivia to stay at the edge of Lake Titicaca or Titicaca. I want to say Titicaca because my name is Titi, right? And visit the island of the sun and the moon. Eduardo was the group's guide. He was helpful and kind. I liked him immediately. We got on incredibly well and chatted about all things nature, politics, religion, and philosophy. On our last day together, as we were heading to cross the border back to Peru, it hit me like a freight train out of nowhere. I love this man. What the hell? Really? I mean, I didn't even know him, and it certainly didn't give me any indication that he felt the same. It didn't make any sense. But as our tour group was approaching border control, Eduardo turned to me and placed something in my hand. As I looked down, I saw that it was his Anden cross necklace. It previously told me that he'd had it for years and never taken it off. I placed it around my neck and suddenly understood that for whatever reason, this man was going to be an important person in my life. As I stood at the Peruvian Bolivian border, I tried very hard to keep myself together as I watched him turn and fade from view. I told I told myself that the feelings I had for him would be my own little secret. I had 10 more days left in Peru with my group, but my mind was elsewhere. Perhaps it showed. I remember one of the older ladies from the group giving me a knowing wink when he mentioned Eduardo's name. Throughout that time, and people can be so messy, guys. It sounds like something I can do. Like I look at you, mention that person's name, and I'm like, I can be messy like that. Okay, throughout that time, Eduardo and I started messaging each other back and forth. Within a few messages, he admitted to me that he felt the same way, and within a few days, we were planning how I could come back to Bolivia to be with him. I remember feeling so certain that this was a sign from the universe I'd been waiting for. The universe was calling me to make a move and follow my heart. Looking back now, this was also an opportunity for escape. During this time, not only was I living in 9 to 5 hell, but I was also in a relationship with the soon to be batterer. It had already turned emotionally abusive at this stage, but I wasn't yet fully aware of it, and I had no idea how bad it would end up. On returning to the UK, Eduardo and I called each other nearly every day in secret, planning and plotting my return. I had arranged to work at the Echo Farm just outside of La Paz. I hid everything from my partner. Fearful even then to invoke his anger, I was biding my time, waiting to tell him that I was leaving and why. He suspected, of course, and one day on the way back from work, I received a message from him. You are dead to me. I knew instantly what happened. He'd obviously found my journal and read it. I'd spilled my heart onto those pages, weighing up my decision and trying to make sense of the deep knowing that was in my soul. I spent the rest of my journey home in a blind panic, wondering what I would be coming home to. As I opened the front door, the entire house was pitch black. I was scared as I walked through the house, wondering what I would find. He sat at the stairs, quiet. I expected him to be angry. I had anticipated that most of my stuff would be destroyed. But he just sat he was just sat there, motionless. We talked, I explained, and he pleaded with me. He told me he'd be a better partner. He told me all the things I wanted to hear, and then he gave me an ultimatum. Him or Eduardo. I chose him. To this day, I wonder what would have happened if I had been brave enough to follow my heart. But I wasn't. Fear was keeping the prisoner in the relationship. Fear was keeping me prisoner in the relationship and was seducing me into believing that he would change. He made me cut Eduardo out and block him on social media. And for the next couple of months, we were happy. He was attentive and loving in a way. In a way he hadn't been since the beginning. But no matter how much I tried to convince myself, there was still part of me that knew I copped out of following what my soul was telling me to do. So guys, before we continue, I want to say something. Don't ever make the mistake of thinking you can change anyone. See, I am not trying to change anybody, okay? It's common sense. I mean, because I am human too, and I think that I, if I paid attention enough to the people that I care about and the people that I genuinely love, I wouldn't do things that that do not align with them, the things that do not sit right with them. So naturally I would make the changes myself, not them trying to change me, because even so, when someone is trying to change me, we have a problem, because I have values, beliefs that align with me, and if you're trying to change that, it's not going to work out. So because I can be like that, right, I also expect other people to be like that. And if you try to change another human being, you're setting yourself up, because you end up getting hurt in the process. It's not your job to change anybody. The only person you can change is yourself, because at the end of the day, you are only in control of yourself. Yep. All right, let's go. Perhaps reading this has brought up memories of times in your own life where you've ignored the calling of your soul and opted to play it safe. And somehow you're either convincing yourself of why you had to make that choice or berating yourself for not being braver. Whatever you have chosen in your past, know this, it wasn't your fault. You were doing the best you could, and we are all wired to unconsciously choose safety above all else. It's how we survive. And that's crazy, because once we get used to, and I've been there, like I have been there. In fact, I was there so many times, okay? Once we get comfortable with some people, we get comfortable with some environment, we start to think that, we don't want to start new things because now we're used to these people, and you don't want to let new things in, because to you that's starting again. And then you, for some reason, or me for some reason, I had problems with starting again, because that's like a whole new getting to know somebody, starting a new journey and stuff like that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with starting again. I had to learn that the hard freaking way. And new things are beautiful. And sometimes, in fact, 9 out of 10 times, the new is actually what you need. And once you step into the new, you thank yourself for actually doing that, because now you're actually experiencing the things that you actually, deserve, the things that align with you, the things that the universe have set in place for you. And all you just need to do is to be brave. Be brave enough to choose the new. Be brave enough to, let go of whatever it is that's weighing you down, no matter how much you love it. You know, I understand that part. I understand that part of loving somebody so much. But you should love yourself more. You should love yourself more, so that at the end of the day, if something is messing you up mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it is, you can easily drop it, because at the end of the day, you love your freaking self. And always ask yourself this: will I ever treat myself this way? Will I ever do this to myself? Will I, just ask yourself. And if your answer is no, you have your answer. You have your freaking answer. All right. So, but also know this: just because you weren't able to take the leap yesterday doesn't mean that you go without today. There are opportunities coming your way all the time, and if you miss one, another will come in its place. The trick is to be open to seeing them and be courageous enough to follow them. I truly believe that the universe is self organizing and self correcting. I don't know what would have happened if I had followed my soul's knowing and moved to Bolivia. But what I do know is that when the opportunity to move to Portugal presented itself to me a few years later, I found the bravery to follow it and follow the decision. Everything started to slot into place for me, perhaps as was intended. The universe didn't punish me for not having previously followed the sign she was giving me. Instead, she gently kept nudging me until eventually I listened and took action. There is no doubt about it. It takes courage and commitment to live a meaningful life. I know from experience that bravery usually comes when our current experience is so painful and harmful that we have no choice but to live it. But we don't always have to wait for that. We can choose our own liberation before things get bad. Either way, by committing to our own freedom, our destination, emancipation is inevitable. I've had to learn like the hard way so many times to choose myself. And I always tell people like, some of us we had to learn this so that some of you don't have to go through it. And then that's why you can find like, me or other people on there trying to like or even Sarah that we're reading, trying to use their life experiences to help guide other people as well. Let me tell you guys something, right? I understand when how it truly feels when you actually love somebody, like love a situation, and it's just like I think uh, they're gonna get better tomorrow. They're gonna get better tomorrow, and then you trying to convince yourself they're gonna get better tomorrow, you are making yourself worse, right? You don't realize it until you hit the rock bottom, and then once you hit the bottom, which not a lot of people actually get to like survive. When I say survive, some people still don't have the strength to heal from that trauma that they got from that situation. And but what Sarah is saying, yeah, I agree. You don't have to wait until it gets bad. Like you do not have to. You don't even have to wait. You can see. You see the patterns. You see the flags. You see all of that. You don't have to wait until the flag strangles you. You don't have to wait until all of this thing. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for that. Just choose yourself and take yourself out of that situation. Okay? All right. All right, this is the end of chapter contemplation. Contemplation is the process of bringing something into our awareness and allowing the light of our consciousness to reveal the layers of its meaning to us time and time again. It encourages true transformation by providing space for us to gain deeper clarity on our insights and integrate them into our lives. You can contemplate through journaling or by going for a walk in nature and asking yourself the question over and over again. Don't rush through this process. Give yourself space and time for the wisdom to emerge, and you'll be blown away by what you discover. Here are the contemplative prompts for this chapter. What resonated with you throughout these pages? What have been your biggest breakthrough realizations so far? How can you begin to embody the priestess? I hope you guys will practice these exercises. It does help. So we are going to read. Let me see what we have here. Okay, that's fine. We'll read these 3 pages and then I'll read your oracle cards. How does that sound? Sounds good? Okay. So we have emancipation. I was like, what's that? We have emancipation. There is no mission or goal that is too big. Absolutely nothing. When a woman is dialed into our purpose and open herself to receive, anything becomes impossible in our life. And not only that, she becomes an agent for huge social and planetary change. And this is like me. When I finally stood in my power, I find myself embracing myself and being able to be here to record. I don't know if I've said this before, but this is not like the old me. Even though I knew that I just have a purpose. I have something to say, but I just wouldn't say because I'm like, yeah, like who cares? Who's gonna listen to me? What do But that's not the point. That's absolutely not the point, because my job here is to send it out. Even if it's one person needs to listen to this. One person needs the help, needs the guidance to you know, they just need to listen to it. And I embrace that part of me. So, emancipation is the process of liberating ourselves from a system that does not love us. We free ourselves by choosing to take an active role in putting our gifts out into the world and allowing ourselves to receive in return. This is the process of allowing ourselves to thrive emotionally, spiritually, and financially, and use our power to create heaven here on earth. Priestesshood needs a tangible outlet. We must always follow our callings. I personally choose entrepreneurship, channeling my priesthood, and working for myself has been a powerful access point for truly experiencing healing, freedom, and wealth, purpose, and impact. In this part of the book, I share with you how I found the courage to follow my callings, finally making the power of the priestess flesh. In the process, I healed and transcended the fear of being truly myself. All right, living the rat race. Once I had left academia, I took a job for a travel operator specializing in archaeology tours. On paper, the job was a dream, creating exciting itineraries in places like South America and South Africa and getting opportunities to lead groups on tour. In reality, it meant being sat in a stuffy office in front of the computer for 9 hours a day and occasionally leaving the office to manage tour groups. If that wasn't suffocating enough, I found myself getting increasingly pissed off with head office who took a top-down managerial approach. This meant that as staff, we were micromanaged at every opportunity, and any creative impulse or innovative spark that we had was immediately stamped out. I couldn't breathe. The sense of dread upon waking up in the morning, the long commute, and the feeling that I was wasting my life became too much. A year later, I quit. I had hardly any savings and no idea what I was going to do next. But I knew that if I didn't give myself permission to explore what was calling me, very soon I'd lose sense of my true, authentic self. I was terrified. I'd never been without a plan, but a few months later, I'd brought a one-way ticket to the Philippines to teach yoga at a popular resort. When I first arrived, I was riddled with anxiety. I'd only graduated my yoga teacher training a year before, and my teaching experience was sporadic at best. I was convinced that I was going to be found out as fraud. The evening before my first morning class, I didn't sleep a wink. I turned up to teach incredibly tired, convinced that no one would show up and I'd look a fool. To my relief, two bright eyed Filipino women walked up to the yoga deck. I started with a guided meditation, my voice shaking as I stumbled over my words. Guys, that was anyway. Let's just continue before I say what I wanted to. Oh my god, this is not gonna open up. What is going on? Okay, finally. It wasn't the most eloquent class I've ever taught, but I'll never forget the energy of happiness and peace I felt after the class was over. I remember smiling as I contemplated that I had once expected to be a professor, teaching hundreds of archaeology students in a lecture hall and earning good money. I was now in the Philippines teaching yoga to two students, and I just earned less than 5 viewers. But In that moment, I realized that never, I had never felt so aligned. I was buzzing. I knew it was exactly where I was supposed to be. For the first time in my life, I was following a calling. Day by day, my confidence grew. Within just a few months, my classes were full and I was matching my previous salary by teaching just 3 hours a day. I couldn't believe it. The rest of the time, I was drinking coconuts on the beach, enjoying the freedom of the island life. I felt free. My yoga classes were pure transformative alchemy, and it was something that came effortlessly to me. I was channeling deep, timeless wisdom without even realizing it. The priestess was making herself known to me, and it was pure magic. It also blocked my mind that I had matched my old salary so easily. Could it really be this easy? This experience flipped an entrepreneurial switch in my brain, and I began to experience increasing freedom by sharing my gifts. Before long, I was flexing my entrepreneurial muscles even more and exploring creative part of myself that I hadn't accessed since I was a child. I began channeling my knowledge of gemstones into making and selling yoga jewelries. I began to learn that it's a lot easier to make money than I had previously believed, and it could also be a lot more fun. Having spent my whole life surrounded by academics or people working in traditional 9 to 5 jobs, I had no idea that there was another way to live, which is why one of the most pivotal moments in my life was meeting Kayla, a yogi from California. She moved to the Philippines a couple of months after I did, and we immediately hit it off. Athletic and petite, with beautiful big brown eyes and an infectious smile. I loved that from the outset. Every time we hung out, I felt sparkly and inspired. I was also initially slightly intimidated by her at first because at the moment in time, I still put people on pedestals. I did wonder why she wanted to hang out around with someone like me, but I pushed past the illusion of not feeling good enough and we became good friends. Not only did my yoga teaching improve immeasurable because of her, but my view of what was impossible expanded. She was the first entrepreneurial minded friend I had ever had. The founder of nonprofit and yoga retreat company, she had built a life that revolved around following our callings. Our discussion about what we wanted to create and experience in the world, it lit a fire under me. Through art, I saw that there was another way to live and vowed there and then never to stuff myself back into a 9 to 5 box ever again. This is why it's so important to surround ourselves with expanders, people who have dreams and do not create what they desire in the world. When we are in the energy of these kinds of people, we can help but to sell but calibrate to them. All right, so this is the last page and it's just like an exercise. Call in your expander sadhana. The people you surround yourself with are incredibly important. The more they inspire you, the more you will grow. This isn't to say that you have to ditch your friends and family and move to LA, but by deliberately surrounding yourself with people who already follow their calling, you will find it much easier to follow your own. Use these contemplative prompts to explore. Who in your life is already an expander for you? How can you meet more people that inspire you? What events could you go, or how could you meet them online? Is there anyone online that you look up to? How can you enter into their world even deeper? Do they offer programs or retreats? How can you also be your own expander? All right, guys, so that is page 132, and we will continue with page 133 in the next episode. We are almost done. Okay. All right. So I have your cards here, and I'm about to read them now. Um, so I'm gonna read from this one first. I have all that glitter, all the glitters right there, and then it's the 16, and we are going to read. I don't know who is honking that bad, but all right. So let's read essential meaning: a need to see beyond the superficial. The desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkling new thing, being mercurial. Oh, being mercurial. All right. So the oracle message is that it's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status or to deny them as a statement or rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title or a position, the stamp of authority, or the sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing, or oh, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will elevate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it is time to see beyond the adornment and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the mask people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all the glitter is gone. Would you still desire the object or person? Ask yourself, ask yourself if you still desire. Okay. And I don't know if I want to read the prosperity message. Okay, let me just read it. Sometimes an opportunity looks so good that it glitters like gold and you can't just resist it, especially when it appears others are doing so well and have hit the mother lode. During the American gold rush, everyone hurried west to find their fortune, and then desired and the deserted entire towns after the mining depleted the gold veins in the earth. So too can you deplete yourself as you chase after the latest shiny things that has caught your eyes. There is a mercurial quality to your present circumstances. Pay no attention to those who chase after fool's gold. Resist the temptation to be jealous of others. What they have achieved may not be the true success you seek, so don't compare yourself to others. You see only the surface right now, only the sparkle. Be assured that you will experience your own shining moment if you stick to what you know. All that glitters may not be gold for you. All right, I'm glad I actually read that. Okay, and then we have new live here. You guys see that? We have new live, and that is 30. No. Mm, almost there. Oh my god, I don't know why this books won't open up. I'm sorry, guys. All right. New live, birth of new ideas, growth, opportunities, a breath of fresh air, life renewing itself. When spring awakens the world, joy and excitement can be felt all around and in your very core. Blossom bursts from trees overnight, birds return home and sing their glorious songs, and nature is full of promise. Miracles beckon all of us This is one of those times in your life when new ideas inspire you and new opportunities bring you hope for seeing your dreams come true. All is well in your world, and you have the energy you need to feel renewed. Allow your heart to fill with allow your heart to fill with enthusiasm. Let your light shine, for this is the time for good fortune. You have every reason to be optimistic right now, as things seem to fall into place magically. New opportunities remind you that abundance is available to you. Delight in the bounty that begins to appear in surprising forms. Stay curious and know that your hopes and dreams are being fulfilled. It is as if new life suddenly infuses your project, work, and creative ideas with a kind of electricity that crackles within with exciting potential. Fortune is smiling on you, my dear friends. All right, so we're gonna read the other two and then we're out of here. So I have the maiden here for this one. It says, demand what is yours and take back what was taken. Reclaim until you've gathered all of you. I know that's freaking right. I know that is right. All right, let me read it for you. 22. Oh. Guys, we're not playing. You gotta stand in your power and reclaim what is yours. Like, literally. Gotta reclaim what. Let's take back the power of the maiden. In many ancient cultures, maidens were considered to be divine manifestations on earth. Many oracles were left sexually pure, but were also considered to be powerful beings who had direct channels to the gods. Over the years, maidens have been reduced to being people who need to be saved or supported by stronger, more masculine beings, but we say a maiden is someone who is on the cusp of embracing our freedom and is ready to enter the world as the sacred being she is. Maiden brings you an invitation to stand at the gates of your increasing power. You are guided to reclaim your inner warrior, your divine feminine energy, and your primal force of creativity. Perhaps you are afraid of how powerful truly how powerful you truly are. You can feel it in your bones, but worry it will spin out of control. Or maybe you were taught to reduce your power as to not to scare others away. There are many prisons placed on wild women by those who are afraid to embrace the strength of a woman unleashed. But to reduce the strength within you is to dampen your soul's purpose in this lifetime. Within this force lies all you need to make your dream a reality. Card companions. Maiden is of special importance of chant, primal indulgence, or goddess are also within your reading. Are these cards are powerful as these cards are powerful feminine energy that will guide you to embrace your truth and worth. Guys, you know what? When I put all your cards and I put these cards, also the goddess card came out, but I just left it because I was like, I wanted to pick out just two cards on from each deck. But the goddess card literally came out with this card. This is crazy that I'm reading it here. It says mating is of special importance if chant, primal, indulgence, or goddess, and it's saying the card companions like other other oracle cards in this deck. It's so crazy. It says these cards are powerful feminine energy that will guide you to embrace your truth and worth. I can make this up, guys. When I tell you that my you know when I tell you that I get like this messages and I get like this downloads and even lately it's been kind of freaking me out as to how much download I get, how much, like literally in a day, just in a day of even like going to work and stuff and just getting this downloads and seeing it happen right in front of my eyes. And it's like my intuition is getting so strong, and I remember before I would feel like, is it my intuition or I'm being paranoid? But now it's like I know exactly when it's my intuition because I, I, I can feel it. And then guess what? I see it happen like right. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm not crazy. I am not crazy. We have the self worship here. I don't know if you guys can see, but it says self worship, and it's so funny. Um, when it says to stand in your power, and now there's self worship, and I saw this tweet the other day that says it's either you worship me or leave me alone, and I was like, I know that's right, and that's so crazy that I'm seeing the self worship card here again. All right, let's get to the next one. Self worship, which is 37. And let's see. All right, wait. Yeah, we're here. My hands fold as I speak to the stars, watching as the sky holds its breath. It's in stillness that I find all that I am in all of my divinity within me. If you have to replay these and pause it to write this down, that will be awesome because those are powerful words. You are in need of some major self care as you are spread too thin and give too much of yourself to too many people, projects, and ideas. The real spiritual work happens in the moments when you make your well being a priority. Be a little self centered and focus on nourishing yourself for a change. Worshipping yourself isn't selfish, but rather is a sign of self respect and acknowledgement of the need to save yourself before you are in position to help others. This message is amplified when it's combined with indulgence. Self worship can also mean you have been putting yourself down, focusing on your flaws rather than seeing how beautiful and worthy you are. How you speak to yourself has more impact than the words of anyone else, as the harsh words you speak about yourself drain you of your energy. Negative self talk can create blocks, doubts, and limiting beliefs that will prevent you from experiencing the blessings that are your due. This is your reminder to worship yourself and find compassion and forgiveness, even for your most unforgiving paths. Parts. Okay. So, guys, that is the end of this episode. Not forever, because you guys know I would definitely be back. All the time, I be thinking, oh my god, I need to come back. I need to record. I'm like, oh my god, can I do this every day? I mean, if you guys would be here every day, maybe I can actually put something together every day. Who knows? But I hope you guys had a good read. To if you made it to this last minute, leave me a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know that you actually made it through through these long videos. I try not to make it long, but guys, there's always something to talk about. And when I'm talking, it just feels like it's coming out of my mouth. It just feels like it's coming out of my mouth. Like I'm just channeling. I'm just talking. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and also turn up your post notifications so that whenever I upload new readings, you can get notified and you can get right on it. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I hope that you find this helpful, and I hope that it helps you as you continue your healing journey, your self love journey, your embracing yourself journey. And I just wanted to tell you that the magic is you. The magic is you. The magic is you. And that's why it can never leave you. I read that somewhere and I find it very, very powerful. You know, I don't remember where, but it's so powerful. All right. I will shut up my mouth now. And I just want to thank you guys so much. I know I already did, but I just have a habit of doing that, of thinking over and over again. All right, guys, take care and bye bye.